Yes, here we go, P.M.P, and it's one of those rare post-match pish shows, Terry, where we have to talk about a domestic defeat. Apologies for missing you again midweek, mate, after the Bayern game. I'm really sorry I was poorly.
Okay, man.
I'm actually feeling a lot better, though, to be honest with you, man. I'm jamming again, but see, today's result, I think most people, if they're being honest themselves, could see coming. I think anyone who's wanting to scaremonger about title drive and Celtic not giving a fuck and all that nonsense, I think needs part. I've seen long enough of watching this club that hangovers exist after European exertions. Celtic were incredible midweek, and that praise is so deserved and should be reverberated round that come Saturday lunchtime, morning for me, I have to. I think we've got to be real and say there's going to be a drop-off. They had to make changes to the team. I'm okay when we can afford to do it, Terry. And do you know when we can afford to do it? Because see that what we've done this season is get us a 13-point gap in the fucking first place. So I'm very reluctant to go through this set of players today. Remember, before we get Terry's point of view, do all that good stuff. Gives a like, gives a share, buy some hair. If you want to become a Bhoycie Bus member, $1.99. Doesn't change any of the content. We're always here. Buysports.com, Bus 1888 at the checkout. Terry, thoughts?
I get your viewpoint, right? And in the bigger picture, I agree with you. But we're here to talk about today's game where Celtic were absolutely abysmal, and there are mitigations around that, and we'll cover all of that off, and I totally accept them all. But we've kind of shown today that we still have this performance in our locker, similar to the game against Rangers at the start of the season, where we just fucking don't turn up at all. Yeah. But a couple of things, Bhoycie. We didn't know what time we were starting, but we're starting now. I nipped out for a couple of pints. I have to do a couple of shout outs just with a couple of boys I was with. They were watching Ireland.
Man,
we were watching Ireland and Wales in the rugby.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Happy birthday. Three call outs. I've got a call out for Big Arms John, who's got the biggest arms you've ever seen. Adrian Kenny, the dart thrower, and Smelly Ian, the Rangers fan. So there's three boys that was just having a fun with. Smelly Ian, the Rangers fan. Yeah, fucking Rangers bastard. Right, listen, but anyway, I got the wife to come and lift me, and just a minute before she lifted me, I just went up to the bar and ordered 2 pints. So I've got 2 pints out of the bar, cost me nearly £11, but I'm going to sit and enjoy them with you. You've got 2 tins that probably cost you 50p each. But anyway.
No, expensive, man. Expensive shit.
Aye. Is that dragon soup, is it?
Aye, it's $3.29 a can now, man.
I tried the dragon soup. It didn't do it for me, like, but
did it not? No,
but I've two lovely looking pints of Guinness here to get stuck into. Good. But today's game, Bhoycie, I sat with David the other night, and David's show was really good. Not that yours isn't, but no. But what was good was whenever we seen Brendan Rodgers, and me and David wouldn't have seen it before we went on live because we went on straight after kickoff. But in the manager's post-match press conference, he actually touched on so many points that David had raised with me during the P.M.P, and that's when you know you've had a good show. Whenever
he's watching the bus.
Absolute novices like me and David, who have no fucking interest or background in journalism or football management or anything, but our conversation and the questions that David was posing to me were actually then mirrored in the manager's press conference and discussion points. We hit all the touch points, so it was good.
That's between you and him, mate. I'm not interested in that.
As much as the words that we were using the other night were pride and all of that kind of stuff. Today, you've got each
other's touching points. You were talking about pride.
On today's game, on face value, it's fucking abysmal and embarrassing. So let's chew through it.
So See, the way I see it is the first half was as sluggish. People feared Celtic were going to start the game in a certain manner on the back of that game. And I'm not, this isn't a justification of it. I'm just saying, I think many of us thought, being realistic, there'd be a drop-off. That was probably the worst version of the drop-off that could have been expected. Is that a fair way to put it? Like, it was your fears, but like everyone's fears combined into one. And do you know what? I'm not giving them a pass on it. See, when I was trying to say at the start, I'm upbeat and I'm positive about it because of the work that we've done already this year and the credit we've got in the bank. And I think that's also fair. If you want an isolation look at the 90 minutes, which I think you're alluding to, that's cool. And I get that. And I wonder if this game has been such a hangover that sometimes, I remember the last season, we looked like this and there was no excuse for it. Do you understand? Do you know what I'm... So maybe it's just a trait from the past combined with the disappointment, let's be real, of that, the nature of that last minute goal for Bayern. And to come down of a league title that probably even, I know they're consummate professionals and that, but they kind of, like you did, called it probably in September, mate. You know what I mean? Like, they'll know it's done. And I do think there's a fall off, but it's also a trait from last season when that wasn't an excuse they could ride on, that we've seen where some games we just seem to start just out the zone. Do you know what I mean? Like mentally it just seems, and it's weird to see that as a unit. 11 players all in unison, almost looking like, who's up for this today? How are you all spaced out for the equation? It's bizarre, isn't it?
So listen, I'm not wetting the bed. I'm not pissing myself. None of that. But I'm just... my preparation for this show is, and see, this is a problem I have. I never know what version of you I'm going to get. If I start talking a bigger picture, you try and rein me in. Let's talk about the 90 minutes that we've just watched. And if I then go to talk about the 90 minutes that we've just watched, you then fucking start talking about the bigger picture. So that's the problems. That's the problems I'm up against. Whenever, when I've got
being a brilliant host.
When I've got a host that is just completely volatile, and it all depends what fucking side of the bed he's got out of. It's absolutely difficult for a top pundit like me to fucking prepare for a show whenever you're no, listen.
Do you know what you feel to recognise, Terry, is? See, even through that, I said, however, if you want to look in the game in isolation, we can do that too. So I gave you both options, mate. I just had to get the first stab in initially to make sure that. But you're right, though. You're right, because whatever you say, I mean, if you say
there's a whole different discussion here.
When you say Yang's good, I think Yang's better. It's that simple, mate. When it comes to me,
Yang fucking was brilliant for Bayern, or against Bayern for about 10 minutes in that home game.
For Bayern, you were close.
For Bayern, no, he was brilliant for Bayern in the second game. He was brilliant against them in the first one. He was fucking brilliant for them in the second one. But I think, and the thing is, Bhoycie, and I don't want to get into this today because I don't even want to talk about them because they're totally irrelevant. I think us losing at the end of this week, where I have just listened to the biggest load of pish all week about this fucking takeover. I've heard people who are expecting Rangers to drop Cyril Dessers next season, and the two centre forwards will be Mbappe and Haaland. I've listened to dickheads who have been looking up this. I listened to a dickhead who was looking up the coefficients to see what pot Rangers will be drawn in the 2026-2027 Champions League group stages, because they're going to be guaranteed to be in that. The amount of deludamol that has been consumed. And then at the end of that week, where this has all happened, Celtic end up losing the game. And do you know what? I don't even know what's going on. What is going on in their game at the minute?
The 55ers. That's good.
I don't like getting into any of this kind of shit on the show.
You started it, mate. I mean,
No.
That's like buying shots and then going, I don't like getting drunk.
No, listen. I wasn't talking about the Rangers chat. I was talking about Rangers have gone from being.
It wasn't talking about Rangers chat, but you talked about Rangers.
No. No. They've gone from being run by green and white to they're now going to be taken over by the initials SF, which anyone in Ireland will associate with a political party. The only thing that needs to happen next is Jerry Adams takes over from Philip Clement, and you've just gone fucking full circle. But the amount of pish that I have listened to this week, and then it just happens that we drop points on the Saturday. Listen, grand scheme of things.
Breaking news: Rangers nil, St Mirren 1.
What is it?
Aye.
Is it?
Aye.
Well then, that.
Yeah, it was in the 49th minute. I'm only kidding. It wasn't in the 49th minute. It was close though. It'd have been good if it was the 49th.
Because
shall we say the 49th minute just for the banter?
Because anytime Celtic.
Well, 49ers, mate. You're not getting the joke, no?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm getting the 49ers.
Right. Anyway, Terry, are you feeling deep down? Let's be real here today. You're going away to Hibs side on fire, and see what's mad with that team. Now, the guy I work with, Reese, is a Hibs fan, right? And since the start of the season, we were both laughing about how's that David Gray still the manager there, and he's going, no one has a clue. Get Lenny back is all he wanted, and then David Gray's turned around them to be up there with the most informed teams in the league. I think they now are level. Let me just check the table.
13 unbeaten domestically.
Mate, they're 2 behind Aberdeen now. Now, you consider where Hibs were when Aberdeen were having a great run. Yeah, right? And I think today what you found as well wasn't just the Hibs that have been informed, but the best version of Hibs today. Combined with a Celtic way below par. No one can doubt that. It's just about whether you want to go down the route of this isn't acceptable, or whether you want to just take a step back and go, do you know what? Sometimes these defeats happen in league campaigns, by the way. But right now, sitting on 22 wins out of 27 in the league. Right? We've lost 2. We've lost 2 games this season. It's fucking nearly March. 2 games. This is the second one. The other one was away as well. Just, I don't know, as Roy Keane would say, relax.
No.
See, what do you think?
It's not unacceptable. It's totally understandable. It's acceptable. All I'm saying is it was pish. But the first thing that came into my mind was we held a rampant Bayern Munich out for 94 minutes in the Allianz Arena, and we went to Easter Road and we couldn't hold out for 2 minutes.
Does that not tell you that, though? That's what it took out you at Bayern. Is that not half the clue? Because Conor, we love Conor on the bus. As you know, the Carpool Conor, he's a great boy. And he posted sort of, how could we do this? We're one of the best teams in Europe midweek. And then on Saturday lunchtime, not do it to a shite Hibs team. And I'm like, I think the clue's in the second part of your message. Like, that the exhaustion you get from being able to compete at that level, which is not the norm for Celtic, because I don't mean not the norm, being able to compete at that level. Well, kind of true too. But what we're used to and accustomed to week is not that standard, mate. Far from it. And for Celtic to reach those standards and looked like they belonged, I do still think takes a hell of a lot more out of our tank, albeit the optics look good. Do you know what I mean?
So, Bhoycie, take it back to the lineup, which we do quite often. I thought there'd be more changes. I genuinely did. I thought after the amount of effort, and I think what you've seen with those Bayern games, what we were able to do, because we've got such an advantage, we've got such a cushion, such a comfort blanket in the domestic league, we were able to plan to make sure that we had our key players at peak optimum levels for those 2 ties against Bayern. And I think that's why we were able to run one of the European superpowers so close over 2 games, because we didn't have to run players into the ground the weekend before just to sort of compete in the SPL and make sure that was all controlled. I think that's important in football. And when you're talking about professional football, it's very, very small differences. And these are all professional boys who are training every single day, and they're so fine-tuned. And for us to approach those two Bayern Munich games and be able to manage the minutes of the key players that were going to play in those games pre-match was really, really important. And I think that contributed to us being able to put in the level of performance in both games, because we were good in both games.
100%.
Arguably, we were better in the away game than we were in the home game, because
I think the belief, Terry, see the belief we played in the second game against Bayern. As we spoke about at length after the first leg, I just couldn't believe after scoring that goal, disallowed or not, they just didn't carry it through. And what's ironic about that is, see the last 20 minutes of home against Bayern, we decided to carry that through into a different football match a week later. I think over the 180 minutes against them, that was a team when we were at our very, very best. I think we could have took. I think there'll be regrets in that first half at home.
Yeah, that's what I said to David. You and me did the post match on the home game, and I was absolutely raging about leaving Harry Kane free at the back post. It wasn't the first time we did it. It was the second time we did it in the game. The first time he nearly scored, and the second time he did score. And I had a couple of chuckles at the comments and the bus chat where I used the analogy: if I keep drinking out of this vodka bottle, I'm going to get pissed. If you keep leaving Harry Kane free at corners, he's going to fucking score. And the thing about the home game that annoyed me was we handed them those two goals. And over that whole 180 minutes, you look back, that was really, really fine margins. And
do you not think, though, for Celtic, right, be real, when you actually think about it, that is going to take more out of us to be at the said level that you just discussed there than it is a team like Bayern, right? So with that in mind, there's got to be a come down.
There's got to be a come down. But that's why I'm asking the question about the starting lineup. I expected more changes, because I'm thinking those guys that have, out of that team that played today, I might be slightly wrong, but I thought there was 3. Taylor came in for Schlupp, which Brendan Rodgers lost
95 minutes, mate, at that level in a long time.
He hasn't played. He won't have played 2 games in 4 days. He won't have played 2 minutes in 4 days.
As much as I know, like, Greg Taylor's played 6 years at Celtic and that, but like I just thought, like, maybe today, I thought maybe away at Hibs, it was better Greg Taylor started the game, because
I'm not questioning that decision. I'm not questioning that decision.
The other ones, though, that you refer to, McKeown coming in, bit of legs.
100% agree. Bring McKeown in, absolutely. You okay?
Wow. Aston Villa have what?
Lost or drawn every game after a Champions League game this year.
So Aston Villa have lost or drawn every game after a Champions League game this season.
Boy, so you don't even have to think.
That's up to Joe, by the way. I've got up to Joe round the day, so.
But you don't even have to think about this, Bhoycie. This has happened. This has happened for decades, where post big Champions League midweek games, the teams that then go to play at the weekend in their domestic leagues, they're all very, very vulnerable. And
that's what they're saying there. Villa lost or drawn every one. What's that?
Don't even worry about Villa. Look at City. Look at Liverpool. Look at Madrid, Barcelona, Juve, Inter. Look at any of those teams from those leagues. They tried to peak it for the Champions League games, and then they try to deal with the domestic stuff at the weekend after. And what you've got today is just the perfect cocktail of Celtic coming off that absolutely momentous performance. Yes, I know it was a draw, but what a draw, what a performance, what an effort, so much pride. We're coming down off that. The manager also shared with us that the players had a drink during the week, and you probably think a couple of beers, no problem. A couple of beers, no problem at all. But again, you're talking about finely tuned athletes who probably don't have any alcohol for most months.
He's not forcing it down them, though. He's not
he's
not like going like Rio Tati, like, mate, just have a beer. Like, I'm going with folk who've had the beer before, like, I've had the beer, right? He's not like going, these fine-tuned athletes that have never drank before. First, Brendan just changes character and is like, force someone down you.
No. He's not. They're not doing the dentist chair. They're not doing the dentist chair with fucking Sambuca and fucking. You know what I mean? But they've put so much in during the week, and I probably expect that more changes.
Mind you, Rob, honestly, mate, they're not doing what you do, mate, and taking 2 pints of Guinness at the pub. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, give me a chance.
Maybe the Bacardi Breezer.
Give me a chance here. I expected more changes. I thought we would have more changes because the thing about it is we've got another game in three days' time again, and I'm sure we'll be fine for that. But at what point does the European what point does that hangover stop? I'm sure we'll be fine during the week. This happens across Europe. It happens across all the top leagues. It happens to all the top teams. They expel so much physical and also mental energy, Bhoycie. Like see for that game the other night. See for all the physical stuff. They're as I say fine-tuned athletes, but the mental concentration. You're going out there into what an arena that was, by the way. How good does that place look in the dark where it's all lit up red on the outside and everything? But you're getting into that environment. You're playing against one of the European superpowers. You're up against guys that have won Champions Leagues, World Cups, all the rest. It's the fucking concentration for 93, 94, 95 minutes. That's mentally draining as much as
especially when it's not the norm. And not being like
not the norm. And that's what Celtic.
The rest of the league. But Brendan's already in the time he's been here. I know he's not the most popular man in the world. That's fine with me. But as soon as he's back, we're held to a different standard. And I think domestically, he's just got the country's number that much that the second defeat of this season can look right bad. But going on to the point of not the norm, you're right. And it's the mental side of it. They're going, we're just not used to it. And I think that's where you get the wee flickers for the likes of Sloop, who properly shone, I think, midweek. And I think it was, he's used to this sort of crazy test, week in, week out. That's been his career. See, Schmeichel, that's been his career. Do you understand? I even think with McGregor at times I go, he's been through the movie a million times, but there's only been sporadic spells. He's never had a season of it, 40, 50 games, having to be laser focused every single minute of every game. And I know that sounds, it does sound fucking like you're trying to, patronise the rest of the league and that, but I do think a lot of the players are on a different plane for what they're playing domestically. And I think today it was a come down, and what you came against was a Hibs team that's got momentum behind them, and also just everything went for them. Like, I don't mean refereeing decisions. I can't be bought going into that. It's not my thing. I thought in terms of, could all their best players play well? Yeah, they did. And that was going to be hard to deal with anyway, let alone us. Just a shade of ourselves a wee bit. A shade of ourselves.
It's a perfect cocktail, Bhoycie. We're on the come down from a Champions League game. We're mentally drained. Hibs are on a really good run.
Yep.
And do you know what? Fair play to them for giving the manager time, because what you normally see in that scenario, they were rooted to the bottom. There's unrest.
Terry, my boy Reese works in my team. Reese works in my team, literally, like, he calls me Gaffer. We find that funny. But that's genuinely what he calls me, right? And he's like, he's a Hibs man. And he wanted David Gray out. He was adamant. He went, this is a joke now. No one could have seen this turnaround. And you're right. You'll never normally get that time given. But Aberdeen are obviously doing it as well with that Jimmy Thielen. He done, what had he done? He won the league.
He won the league in August.
Well, I know, mate. I know. And then got relegated by October. And they've stuck with him.
No, but fair play to Hibs. Fair play to Hibs. I mean,
definitely.
you don't get. It's just modern society. You don't get time to do anything anymore. Everything's instant. Everybody's expectations are instant. See if Man United, like, I know I'm going to sound like an old fucking dad, like, but see if Man United had made a fucking knee-jerk reaction, they wouldn't have had 20 years of absolute dominance, because in Alex Ferguson's first 4 years, he done fuck all. Now you don't get 4 years, you don't get 4 months, you probably don't even get 4 weeks, you get 4 days, and if things aren't going your way, you're gone. And Hibs were rooted to the bottom at the start of the season, and the knives were out for this guy, and all, you know, this is a good example of you have to give someone time and they turn it around. And today, as I say, was a cocktail. You've got Hibs were probably
breaking news.
Let's
go to Ibrox.
Is it 2?
Rangers 0. St Mirren 2.
So we lost by 1 goal. They're 2 down. That means we go further clear. We're further clear than we were at the fucking start of the day.
Listen, it's up at the top. Do you know what must be shite for them, right? They then are like, right, who do we get in the Europa League draw? I'm like, I hope you win. They're like, what do you mean you hope we win? Because it helps us. So see when you do shite domestically, it helps us. See when you do well in Europe, it helps us. Everywhere you turn, I'm going to slam a door in your face. At home to St Mirren.
It's so unreal, Bhoycie. But here's the thing.
You gotta know when to hold them.
Listen, here's the thing, though. Do you not think, because in their supporters' eyes, they've had a week where they've drank all the Ludamol, and they think all of a sudden, as I said earlier, they're going to win the Champions League. They're going to fucking. They'll not catch Celtic this year, but next season is just a formality. I don't know what's going on, but today, Celtic losing today creates a slight molecule of pressure on them, because it's a chance for them. It's a chance for them to get 3 points.
You take every single pressure off that team and no expectation on that team, and they do okay. The reason they do it in Europe is because genuinely it still is, they're punching above their weight. They're doing things that are unexpected. See the start of every season, they want to change manager by autumn. Why? Because it's still neck and neck, it's nip and tuck. They hate that. See when they go 10 points behind, they look great for a month or 2. Usually it's a new manager bounce. This time they've just let Clement do it. It's just the same thing anyway.
But seeing that dressing room today,
Skeletor will have. I know what you're going to say.
He'd have referred to our result in his team talk, and the Brown stuff's just ran down their legs. Now they might come back. and they might win the game, but it's looking decidedly dicey with fucking.
But this is it. But you're spot on though. It's the second that they go, oh, there's a chink in the armour of Celtic. By the way, what? What do you mean? They've weakened a wee bit. Huh? We don't want us to weaken. They love us being like in this different stratosphere, because they can then play their good football then. See when it's like, by the way, you might have a chance. Well, we don't want a chance. They don't want a chance, mate. They don't want to be in a race with us, because they'll bottle it every time. And these are the wee clues that you get. Terry.
Let's touch on the game. Let's touch on the game. So Hibs obviously go in the lead in 2 minutes. They just go through it like 5 minutes, by the way. Like a knife through butter. Schmeichel makes a good save. It's a good goal. It's a good goal. Schmeichel makes a save to stop 2-0 in fucking 8 minutes. There was then a brilliant move where Luke McCowan was involved and Alistair Johnson had a shot which the goalkeeper saved. But we then get through to half time and we're 1-0 down and the manager rings the changes. Do you think the players that come off, do you think those substitutions were fair? So Taylor's gone off for Schlupp, Ida's gone off for Jota.
Right, I'll tell you my question on it.
McCann's gone off.
I think one thing I've changed my mind on. Well, not changed it. I think it's changed in front of me. Tatis became one of Brendan's guys. I don't think he was overly keen on Tati for day one. Remember the pre-season stuff? In the first season, he wasn't that. I don't think he was overly keen on Tati. See, today, when it comes to it, he's like, there's one of my big guns, if you like, when I need to call to arms Hattati's now one of them. That's a big change for me. Because I don't think that Hattati was initially someone Brendan was, he likes him, but you're not my guy. I think you've seen today, when I'm counting on people to come on at half time, you're one of my guys. And by the way, Adam Ida, I'll take you off every opportunity I get if I don't think you're pulling weight. Big question marks for him, I think, to be honest with you. And I like him. But he's, as I said to you the other week, mate, this is a guy who needs a rocket up his arse before every game. And I don't think that someone's genuine should be their challenge as a manager that they have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. Right? Sometimes self-motivation, mate. See, motivating yourself is difficult. You're probably the hardest person in life to motivate is yourself. We probably can all agree on that in different aspects of life. But I think a manager shouldn't be always having to make special dispensation for one player that I need to seriously boot up the balls before every game and make him feel 10 foot tall and make it's got to come from within eventually. And I just get the vibe off Ida. Unless he's been right dialed in before kickoff or before he's came on as a sub, he can be distant. And I want to like the player, but I do feel at times you see flashes, and I just think it's an attitude thing with him. I think I can't explain more than that.
No, you may have clashed over him a few times, and I think that if anyone should have been motivated today, it should have been Greg Taylor. Who let's just be honest about it. Greg Taylor was dropped for Jeff Sloop during the week. Adam Ida,
after 6 years.
Adam Ida, who in his own words,
not getting the joke, ladies and gentlemen. I love that.
Go ahead.
After 6 years, Taylor was dropped. He played for 6 years, though, Bhoycie. He's played for 6 years. Shut up.
No. Yes, I do.
I heard your argument with
David. I did make that point on the post-match.
I know you did, mate. I know you did. It was just a joke.
And I'm not one of those. I'm not really hung up on kicking Taylor because I think Taylor's biggest issue was that it's who he wasn't and it's what he wasn't, rather than focusing on who he was.
Do you think Rodgers was more? Jinky was more ruthless in taking him off now because he knows he's gone. I think he knows he's gone.
I think the build.
He started today to protect Schlupp. Not
I think the reason that he's back in today, though, is he
was on Schlupp, mate. Because Schlupp wasn't 100%.
But we're probably in a position where neither of those two are likely to be here next season.
No, Schlupp will sign his deal with Celtic, guaranteed.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that could happen. But listen, Taylor might also sign a deal, and I think
that's done.
Right, but it's not done. It's not done. It feels as if it is done, but it's not exactly done. I think Brendan Rodgers would be happy enough if he could get either one of those two for next season.
He wants to keep next season.
But yes,
Taylor's gone, mate. I don't think you're. See the reason Taylor started today.
I think you're right, but he's not actually gone because he hasn't signed anything, and things change very quickly.
No, that's not what I'm saying. If you let me explain it, don't talk for me. I'll explain to you. Taylor started today to protect Schlupp because Schlupp had played in the game in Munich out his skin for that long at that pace. He didn't think he'd be able to handle it the day for the start. See, when the going got tough, first call I'm making is Taylor's off at half time, Schlupp on. But I guarantee you, if it was a preferred lineup, his first choice, everyone at 100%, Taylor does not start that game today. Taylor's done. I don't think you're getting it. Like, he's done. He's made his mind up.
I don't know why
you think he might sign a new deal still?
You're saying I'm not getting it.
You think you suggested he might sign a new deal?
Well, he hasn't signed for anybody else.
He's not signing a new deal at Celtic. Are you mad?
No, that's no way. I'm happy enough. I'm okay with that. I'm just saying he hasn't signed for anybody else.
He's gone,
Jeff Sloop hasn't signed a new deal
at Celtic. Sloop is the project, mate, not Taylor now. Watch the rest of the season play out and you'll see. I promise.
But you've told me not to put words into your mouth, and then you've put words into mine. I haven't said Taylor will sign a new deal. All I've said is
but you mentioned him signing a new deal.
He hasn't signed for anybody else.
He's not signing a new deal at Celtic, is he? Jinky's going to sign a new deal at Celtic.
Right, but there's no guarantee.
It's not a question, really, is it? He's not saying it's Celtic, is he?
But you also said Kieran Tierney would come in January. That didn't happen either. Then football, things change.
Listen.
Things change very quickly, Bhoycie. And just as quickly as they change.
Nothing I've ever got wrong in my life.
Over my left shoulder, that young Arsenal left back has just been fucking sent off a game, which probably led to us not getting Tierney over the fucking January. He's just been sent off again, that wee left back. No. Listen, I think Taylor's gone. But all I'm saying is he still hasn't signed a deal.
6 years, man.
Give us a chance, Bhoycie. Give us a chance. Greg Taylor has been the best left back that we've had since Kieran Tierney. Ball and goalie, Laxalt, all those other ones that we tried to bring in. Greg Taylor's been the best. If he goes, fair play, happy days. Greg Taylor, thank you for your service. Go ahead. Not too bothered. All the rest.
How many left centre-backs has he slayed as well, though?
Give us a chance, Bhoycie. Give us a chance, for fuck's sake.
What else is it like?
I don't think Greg Taylor will stay. But all I'm saying is, Kieran Tierney is signed for next season as first choice left back. At the minute, we don't have a second choice left back. If we look at Taylor not signing a deal, he's not, and Jeff Sloop is not on anything longer than the end of May, that makes Liam Scales as a backup or Adam Montgomery as our next option. So I think the manager would want to have either one of those two of Taylor or Sloop available next season.
It will be Sloop.
I think that's the most likely outcome, but none of those are actually done.
Well, I'm going to see when you called the league in September.
This conversation,
you called the league in September. I'm going to call Sloops is it Celtic next season and Taylor's no. The same way you called the league early.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but none of them are done. Just because you say you think that's going to happen doesn't mean it'll happen. This conversation started about Ida, and
oh yeah, remember him.
And Ida,
back.
Fucking hell. Ida, in his own words, said, "I came here to be the main man." So we allowed the main man to go in January, which automatically made Ida the main man. However, in our biggest game of the season, the manager decided to play someone who he regards as a winger as the main centre forward instead of the guy who should now be the main man. So he got a couple of minutes during the fucking week. He, if anyone, had something to prove today, was he should be the main man through the middle. And whilst everyone was poor, he was fucking rubbish.
When he came on. I know. Do you know what's mad? I think with Jota, it's weird with him. It's like the Emperor's New Clothes. It's like everyone just sees him. It's like, what are we seeing here? Nothing. And yet when we get Jota, we're like, he's the bollocks, man. I don't understand how a team like Rennes at the bottom of that league and can't find a way. Even against Bayern Munich away, half fit. See the quality in the ball, mate, was trusted more than what the £9 million striker was to be played with Maeda. Maeda to me is Martin O'Neill's Didier Gat, right? There is something that is confusing about what he's going to do next that stereotypically footballers who read a textbook from front to back don't expect. But again, today's goal, I thought, typified that. Do you know what I mean? I thought his goal today typified that. Only Maeda nicks in and gets that. Anything else?
Even the one that was disallowed, boys, he didn't give up a lost cause either.
That's
the one
right.
That was out
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that one? What's your thoughts on that one?
See it right? Okay. See, initially when I watched it live, I'm getting a bit of feedback there. I thought the ball went out.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing the instant clips and it how VAR though have got this better angle that justifies it. Again, are they drawing lines or is it fact? And if it comes back to the argument we had, the only coach in the world that draws lines for offside, probably drew a line today. That's not a thing. It's either factual or it's not. And the benefit of the doubt, by the way, shows we're giving the attacking team.
The reason I'm trying to make the point is, I agree. I think the ball was out. But the key word in that statement is think. The referee on the park made the decision that the ball was in. I don't think the guy in the VAR room has got an absolute 100% clear view on whether that ball was in or out. He thinks it was out, and he's made that call based on think. But you can't make a decision based on think. If VAR's going to overrule the online referee without him getting a second look, if VAR's going to overrule that and say that ball was definitely out,
shows the definitive proof.
They have to be 100%.
They'll draw a line.
100% certain that ball was out. And I have not seen any angle where anyone can say that was 100% out, because the Celtic player is in the road of the clear view. So
I think it's a better lesson.
That ball can be ruled out. I think it was out, but the keywords think.
It looked out initially, and then to see the stills you're seeing now, you're going, fuck. But Joe,
the VAR person thinks, and he can't make a decision based on thinks. He has to make a decision based on 100% fact.
Right, Terry, I'm out of here, mate. But what I will say finally before I go, I think it was a better lesson for the Celtic team to learn to lose today than to have got away with a draw. I think it was a better lesson to learn because they hurt a wee bit more. Especially when Rangers are smashing Smirren 2-0, 0-2.
Is it still 2-0?
Still 2-0, mate.
Fuck. So we've actually gone further clear today.
We went further clear today in goal difference. It's amazing. I mean, see when they do well in Europe, we do better because we get the coefficient points. See when they do shite domestically, we win trophies. See when we get beat, they get beat by more. This is a life of slamming doors. Slamming Doors FC. Honestly, I love them, man.
See, in terms of the European thing, I was thinking of this during the week because I was listening again. I was listening to them talking about how they earned all the coefficient points and all for us. Do you know what I was thinking about? They were just a mule. So they were the ones taking all the fucking risks, taking all the jeopardy, doing all the thing, and we were just the big dogs up at the top who were just coining it all in. They were the ones doing the legwork, taking the risks. If it went wrong, they went to jail. And
totally, man.
We've just totally benefited.
I love it, mate. Everything they do, even when they do it well, it benefits us. It's killing folk. It's just like they must hate life. St Mirren, though, mate. Nobody gets beat at St Mirren by St Mirren at home. Right.
Looks as if that'll definitely be a St Mirren win now. Sure, we're into the last few seconds.
Definitely. Right, I'm out of here. I'm going to go get pissed. Right.
Good luck.
See you later. Cheers, Terry.